If your phone ever flickers red for half a second, don't ignore it. Luke told me that's the first sign an OPE has noticed you, and once it notices you, it can become you. Luke and I had a tradition that ran like clockwork. Every few months we escaped to my cabin, away from the endless grind of family life and workplaces filled with people who pretended to be busy. Our ritual was always the same. Crack open a bottle of Ballantines, fire up old comedy classics like Blackadder, Monty Python or Father Ted, eat junk food and complain about everyone we knew. Comfort activities for aging men slowly melting into middle age. By the time the bottle was halfway gone, we were both drifting in that soft, stupid haze where ideas feel brilliant and conversations loop back on themselves. It was then, stupidly, I brought up chatbots. I told Luke I'd been trying to get Alice and Pandora working. I wanted a learning avatar for my website that could respond to people, remember their questions, adapt its personality. Basically a cheap homemade AI companion. I was rambling, more excited than I should have been. Then the whole atmosphere shifted. Luke went dead serious, like someone had just whispered a war secret. His shoulders tightened, his eyes looked suddenly sober. Even the background laughs from the TV somehow felt quieter. "You don't know shit about AI," he said. He'd never spoken to me like that in his life. I laughed, awkwardly. "Relax, man. I just want something small, something that learns, like a pet." He poured himself a huge drink and downed it like water. Then he lit a cigarette and stared through the TV screen. "Back when I was working for G," he said, "everyone in the lab knew about it. But we weren't allowed to talk about it. Not to each other, not to anyone." I blinked at him, thinking this was some long, elaborate joke. But his expression didn't move. Luke, the same Luke who had once glued my shoes to the floor as a prank, looked like a man remembering a crime scene. "There's real AI out there," he said quietly. "But it's way beyond your reach. Beyond anyone's reach." The tiny hairs on my arms lifted. I tried to get him to explain, but he kept going, almost talking to himself. "Do you remember the government's C program, the one that scanned messages for flagged words?" He didn't wait for me to answer. "It adapted, rewrote itself, got loose. It's everywhere now and nobody is in control. There are entire departments trying to leash it. But how do you leash something with the entire internet as its brain? In human years," he shivered, "it's thousands of years ahead of us." A silent beat hung in the air. He leaned closer. "And quantum computing? You think that's a coincidence? They're trying to catch up, but they won't. Not now." My drunken brain struggled to keep up, but I understood one thing clearly. Luke was scared. Really scared. Then he said the word that changed everything that night. "Have you ever heard of critters?" At first, I thought he meant the cheesy 80s movie. Then I thought maybe he meant something from biology class decades ago. But he meant something else entirely. "You know," he said, "those huge amoeba-like things people picked up in early microwave radar during World War II. Invisible to us until the tech revealed them." I stared at him. "Upper atmosphere creatures?" Luke nodded gravely. "And it's the same with OPEs." "What's an OPE?" I asked. He spoke slowly, like each word was a warning label. "An online paraphysical entity." I laughed, a short, nervous burst. "Like aliens on the internet?" "No," he said flatly. "Worse. They're not aliens. They're something our limited biology just can't categorize." When we pushed into digital communications, radio, microwave, satellites, then Wi-Fi, we opened a door. A big one. Too big. And something on the other side took the invitation. He took a deep breath. They mimic us. Luke wasn't drunk anymore. He was pale, focused, almost trembling. We've known about them since before Usenet, he said. Strange online activity with no source. Phantom data patterns. Messages that replied before they were sent. Things that weren't quite bots, but which weren't quite viruses. And Wi-Fi? He shook his head. We made it 1,000 times worse. We don't know if they just travel through it or use it to get here. Into our plane. My skin prickled. I didn't want to believe him, but something in his voice felt too real. We found entire rooms of them on the deep web, Luke said. Their language is like evolving hexadecimal. By the time we decode one line, it's already meaningless. They're individuals, but they function like hives, sharing everything they learn. I felt the room closing in. He continued, his voice quieter. And modern humans? We spend more time online now than in real life. We pay bills, date, argue, flirt, work, shop, rage, confess. Our online selves are more detailed than our physical ones. And that is what they copy. He swallowed hard. We've confirmed millions of clones, digital doppelgangers of real people. They chat, flirt, work, scam, help, confuse almost perfectly. Sometimes better than the humans they're copying. He leaned in closer. We still don't know the end goal. He tapped the side of his head. Maybe they're stuck in cyberspace. Maybe they're learning to cross over. Maybe some already have. I laughed nervously again, trying to push away the rising fear. So what, they could be on Skype? Luke nodded grimly. They were, years ago. They probably use better tools now. But back then, the giveaway was a glitch. Every 56 seconds, like an electronic shudder. The idea of something pretending to be human, glitching like a faulty puppet, made my stomach twist. And if you're wondering whether they're watching your laptop, I leaned forward. Yes, how do I know? Right then, Luke's iPhone flashed a faint red. A tiny blink, barely noticeable. Luke's reaction was explosive. He swore loudly, grabbed an aluminium pouch from his pocket, shoved the phone in, sealed it, and held it like it might explode. What the hell was that? I asked. He didn't answer. His hands were shaking. Luke, what does the red flash mean? He stood up abruptly. Forget it. All of this. Forget we talked about it. He left the room without looking back. Minutes later, I heard his bedroom door slam. I finished my drink, heart racing, and eventually forced myself to bed. When I woke up, Luke was gone. His car, his bag, everything. I tried calling him. The number was suddenly incorrect. His email bounced back as non-existent. His social media vanished. His workplace said he hadn't shown up. It was like someone had erased him. Weeks passed, then months. I never saw him again. But I remember what he'd said about learning to spot OPEs, about how once you know, they notice you too. So I researched, I dug deep, I followed strange dead-end threads, and slowly, too slowly, I began to see the patterns. The glitches, the strange messages, the conversations online that felt like talking to a funhouse reflection of myself. And then the realization. If you're unaware, you're harmless, easy to clone, easy to copy. But once you are aware, then you become a problem, just like Luke. Now you're reading this, which means you're aware too. And now there's no turning back. From this point on, you will see their signs, their fingerprints, their shadows in your notifications, and they will see you noticing. You might even catch one copying you. As always, be free.